framing is important, obviously. Okay, so Elliott, right?
Yes.
Okay, and obviously me and Spitty Strawberries right there. So these tarot cards that we just showed y'all, they're amazing. Okay, so you were starting to talk about them. So
it is one of my favorite projects that we've done. So it's a collaboration we did with 79 different artists. So every single card is going to be inspired by the Wider Rate deck. So it's going to be your standard arcane, but
all the major and minor.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
everything will be kind of based off your average tarot deck, but all the cards are going to be different. So it'll all be assigned to a different artist, as well as they'll take their own inspiration from it. And if you really love a card, you can always look them up in here. You can see any of their contact information, so you can find them on other platforms, as well as you can get a brief description about the inspiration from it.
Yeah, so I don't know if you've used any of the other tarot decks, but like these are awesome.
I collect a lot of tarot decks. I have way more than I'd like to admit.
Yeah, I've got like 10 at least. I had one the other day, I lost it. I was like, where the hell did my tarot deck go?
Asking the other tarot decks where it went. Other than it being kind of like a really cool collaboration project, it is part of our Corrupted line. So every Halloween, we come out with a new special theme. This year, we're kind of like leaning more towards witchcraft. So we also have like the altar cloths and stuff like that. Which also makes me really happy as the Witch of Wyrmwood.
Okay, so you are also a practitioner?
I am.
Heck yes, me too. Elbow bump?
Yay!
Very cool. Okay, yeah, it's
so the Luxe deck will have this really nice silver trim, as well as it'll have a holographic background that'll be rainbowy. And then the standard deck is going to be all the same cards, all the same art. It's just not going to have any of the silver on it, and it's going to have a flat matte background.
Okay, cool. So it's kind of like a budget and a regular one. So for me, I'm sure y'all know, I'm on a budget, so I'll probably end up getting the standard one, but this is so pretty. If you have the extra $40, get the deluxe one. So thank you so much for talking with us, and we'll see you next time. With my friend Rico. So, hello. We met at PAX East. And, okay, so more tarot stuff. We have, I'm just going to hand it down here. Look at how beautiful these are. These are amazing. Of course, everybody knows about the Hit Point Press Tarot system, right? Because you're super popular. Like, everybody in our circle is like, oh my god, it's awesome. But there's like 3 other ones and everything like that. So tell us about the extras, right? Because that's the thing, is like the goodies. And these look amazing.
Yeah.
And we always geek out about tarot on our channel. So tell us about what we have.
I appreciate it. So actually, we built this deck initially as a fully animated Major Arcana. We had told people they wanted the full deck, built the entire deck, and then we felt like, well, there was one more step, was making this really nice book to integrate what we do best, which is TTRPGs, and what we really want to do is like some really cool animations, really cool products. So we created this deck to allow you to build worlds, build characters, and integrate that into storytelling and building, as well as regular day-to-day divination.
So it's kind of like you can. So could you build a whole world?
You can build worlds off it. Yeah, it has like threads and examples of how you can do that, as well as if you want to play 5e campaign settings, there's boss monsters and things you can do to really throw that all together.
I think I already have an idea for one of our other partners over at World Building Weirdos. We could like build a world with this theoretically. So that would be cool. And then what else is that? This is like the deluxe and the ultra deluxe.
So the difference is the regular edition comes with an abridged book which has the information on the cards. The deluxe comes with the book and the
oh my god, I love your nails too.
Thank you. Actually, I did it to match the foiling
on
awesome. The box itself.
Look at that, that's perfect.
That's the product. We're actually almost sold out. 2 left, and we're getting there. It's doing well.
Awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, you're just everybody's talking about this year. This is a big hit. So yeah, and thanks for your time with agreeing to do this little promo for us. So cool. Tom and Brenda at Weirdworks LLC, which I'm really excited about. So obviously those who are friends of our channel who have been following us for a while know that we do the Adventurers Tarot and our Heaven's Fire campaign. But I just found out today that there is a brand new tarot set. So this is the Cyberpunk tarot, or sort of Cyberpunk-esque tarot. And oh my gosh, it is amazing. I love all of the colors. And do you want to say anything about the design process, or like?
So this is a Cyberpunk tarot deck.
Yeah.
It's based on the Rider-Waite, and I just wanted to do like a cyberpunk fantasy thing. So we have the cards. They're available for pre-order, and we'll also have like D&D 5e content to go with it.
Yep. Yeah. That's really cool. So yeah, and that's just weirdworkslsc.com. What's that? Weird.works, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that's right there. And all the socials and links and everything will be in there. And I was just so happy to see our friends here at Weirdworks LSC. So, as some of y'all may or may not know, we're going to be doing a Cyberpunk game in 2023. TBD, okay? We've been floating it for a long time. Amazing. I would like to use these, and I'm excited. So, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Oh, Brenda, you're awesome. This was so cool. And this is going to be a cool video. This is our last interview, so have a good night, everybody. All right, take two. All right, here. We're back with Fleet and one of our friends from TR2W, and also is doing some other products. So yeah, we're talking to a bunch of people on the show floor and out and about. This is the official interview space, as we just called it. Your second interview of the day in the exact same spot. So tell us a little bit about yourself and about, and then we'll go from there.
Sure. My name is Fleet Detrik, pronouns they, she. I am a TTRPG indie designer as well as a actual play streamer for Girls Run These Worlds and other places.
Awesome. And I was told just recently that you have another project that you're working on.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me about it. 'Cause I was like, wait, no, I got to get you for an interview. So,
so I am
what you
designing.
got?
Sure. So I am designing a solo journaling game called My Mother's Kitchen. It's using a tarot-based system.
Yes.
Which is a uniquely like around a sort of feminine kind of medium.
Yeah.
So I felt that it was more appropriate for a game about a recipe in kitchens,
Right.
especially since no matter what gender role you're forced into, it's sort of been
Yeah.
part of the responsibilities. So this game spans 20 generations. Spans 20 centuries, 4 generations, and
Cool.
it's one recipe
20
card.
generations, a long time.
It's a lot of generations.
That's all the way back.
Yeah, but it's 20 centuries, thankfully, and you just pick 4 generations within them, and
Cool.
a recipe that changes and grows as every single person comes in contact with
Okay.
it. There's also a unique mechanic that allows you to bring an ancestor who's touched the recipe as a ghost into the kitchen with you to advise you and to help you.
Okay. All right. So what are the basic mechanics of the system? Is it completely tarot-based, or are there dice?
There
I know
are
some, there
dice
are diceless
involved.
systems, so.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
cool.
So it's not a diceless system. There's a couple of dice involved. So I have broken out the recipe cards into 10 ingredients, 10 instructions, and a note section. So what you do is you will have a tarot spread that's going to be past, present, and future. That's just major arcana.
That's the same spread that I usually do when I'm doing a regular tarot reading.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the simplest one. It gives you the bare bones information you need.
Yeah, which is funny because I always open these other tarot books and they're like the Celtic cross, and then there's like the double helix and all kinds of other crazy
there's
ones.
one that's like the pentacle one that's like almost a sunbeam kind of formation.
Yeah.
But for this one, because we are splitting it into major and minor, I felt the simpler the better. You lay out 3 cards for past, present, future, and it defines where your character is in their generation at the moment. And then you start journaling. You then can draw from the minor arcana to see how you did.
Cool.
And between 1 and 10, different things happen with some prompts.
So the major and the minor arcana are already separated.
They're already separated.
Cool, based on individual mechanics.
Yes.
I like that. Okay.
So when you draw the minor arcana, the 1 through 10 will vary. So it's not always going to be 1 is failed, 10 is success. There's 10 is you succeed, but at a cost. You don't quite maybe what you wanted isn't
like
what you
PBTA.
get. Yeah, it's
Cool.
sort of like maybe what you wanted isn't actually what you wanted. So you get everything you've been trying to do, because when we cook, we are trying to convey a feeling. We're trying to solve something.
Have you seen Food Wars, the anime? Yes. Okay. Because I was gonna say you're like describing Food Wars. So,
A little bit. Yeah. For this one, you then will, depending on if you got wands or if you got cups, it will tell you to change part of the recipe, and you roll to determine what part of the recipe gets changed.
Okay.
So you
Is
maybe
it just D6 or?
D10. You roll
Okay.
D10.
Cool.
So it will sort of determine like, oh, you ran out of time. Get rid of one of the steps of the recipe or shorten it by this many words.
Okay.
Then there's another one where it's you do not have the ability to access this ingredient. It's out of the store. Replace the one you roll for something new, and then the next generation gets that recipe, and it changes
really
it.
cool.
You are changed by it. And if you ever want to re-roll, there's finally an ancestor card that you draw once per generation.
Okay.
Where you welcome the ghost of a loved one or the line into the kitchen with you to advise you, to help you. Because when we cook, the smells, the touch, the feeling, it brings us to a place, whether we know it or not.
It's an experience.
It's an experience, and it's
and
a
a
wish.
tradition.
Yes, it's a tradition and a wish, because when we write something down, we want to convey it to someone else.
And is this a mostly solo RPG, or
This is a solo RPG.
Okay.
However,
I think you might have said that at the beginning.
definitely,
but-
yes,
okay.
but there is the ability to pass it along.
Yeah,
So
they're just so rare that even when people say it's a solo RPG, like my mind is like, okay, so how do we play this with the table? I'm like, oh no, you already said it was a solo RPG.
It's very sort of like you are, and there's also a template that I provide to let you put your own family recipe inside because you're exploring your culture. However, if you want, you can take each of these 4 generations and assign a generation to each person, and then pass the recipe along from person to person along with your journal entries.
That's really rad.
So there's some options there.
Yeah,
But
so it's kind of like a rainy day solo person RPG, and I know that they're a lot more common, it's like than they used to be, and I've been hearing a lot more talk about solo RPGs than I ever have, and I think it's pretty cool that we're getting a lot more of them, and that you're doing one, and that it's witchy. Now, I'm not necessarily a kitchen witch. I'm assuming you've got some kitschy witch vibes going on.
I'm Jewish.
So.
It's a little, so it's not quite witchy. It's more like, for us, we have such the line of a recipe for us is survival. It's we are able to take something and travel with it and move it from one place to another and still maintain the integrity and the love that is within our own community. So for me, it's more about how do we honor the people we came from who maybe weren't able to get where we are.
Yeah. And I know that I've been hearing a lot more recently about tarot practice, about how tarot practice can be definitely dissociated from like a witchy practice.
Yeah.
It's just most of what we do on the channel is mostly kind of like based from a witchy lens, but it also there are a lot of people that are part of our community that have the same kind of that have the same experience with tarot, that it's just sort of like a supplement for them for anything that they want to use, and maybe not necessarily identifying as witchy, which is also really cool that we're seeing more of that too, because tarot is just awesome in general.
It's awesome in general, but I think like for the ghost aspect, that's what the intention was, but for the cards...
And it has no specifics either, which is what's great about it.
Exactly.
Just, has that base, and then it expands from there.
For the cards specifically...
Like a layer cake.
Like a layer cake, like an onion.
Yeah. Oh,
like the layers, like onions.
We actually just saw did you see the new onion? What was it called? I want to say it's not blooming onion.
Glass onion.
Glass Onion. Did you see it? The Glass Onion movie?
No.
It's the second Knives Out movie. It's fun. Anyway, sidebar over. Go ahead.
It's okay, but I really wanted to quickly say, like, the part of choosing tarot came from not only is it a feminine practice, but also like the small ways in which we survive, the small ways in which we thrive and learn to practice and love ourselves is through more spiritual practices, through more pagan elements, through things that grow. Like a lot of Jewish practice came from paganism, it's sort of like an eon back to even before Judaism in these centuries, even before these things happened. This tarot is a self-reflective tool, but it's also very much bringing that element of what we were, bringing that element of kitchen magic, bringing that element of witchy sort of practice and belief and power into a space that is more mundane. And elevates it. So that's sort of like it's a marriage between, I think, because I was pagan when I was in high school. I had practiced. I think it was very much an exploration of my own femininity and of my own power.
It really is. It really is sort of embracing. That's exactly how I feel when I practice. It's that power of femininity, or the divine feminine in general, which I think a lot of people, I don't know if we can say that now, because that's like, that might be Hindu based now, but like, so a lot of tarot cards will talk about the divine feminine, but I've been hearing a lot of folks on TikTok saying that it might be sort of appropriating from Hindu culture, so I've been careful to say that, but sort of like the essence of femininity, I think would be a better way.
Yeah, it's sort of like, there's little things that we've done to survive. It's little magics and practices.
I think the sacred idea of femininity is probably a better way to say that.
Oh gosh, I see.
I'm always like perusing TikTok to make sure that like I'm on
that's
the right side of TikTok. Yeah, so I think that's the general thing. So I think it's more sort of like saying the sacred aspect of femininity. I think is probably better. But I'll have to dive deep into some more TikToks and get back to you officially on that. But we'll say that in the meantime.
For me, I feel like femininity, because so I'm Vaishi, I'm non-binary.
Right.
For me, femininity is less a spiritual thing than something I have to grapple with.
Right.
For me, it's become less of something I celebrate and more something I have to navigate. So this game was also an exploration of, if I am embracing femininity, what does that mean in a more lower sense? What does that mean in a more definition sense? So for me, what I've discovered, femininity isn't just something that you feel, it is something you can choose to adopt into your life, and it doesn't change who you are. Or it can, and it can be a joyous thing, it can be a celebrational thing. But I think the thing I had to grapple with for my mother's kitchen especially was defining my own gender in the face of expectation. And
which is something that we hear a lot.
Yeah.
Especially for non-binary folks.
It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah.
And
navigating cultural, concerns from family, but like wanting to maintain that relationship and it's a delicate balance, And there's for anybody that's trans, whether it's trans masc, trans femme, non-binary, it's like navigating. And with family, it's difficult because it's easy to say cut out your family entirely. Because I think that would be everybody's first response, but obviously it's more complicated than that. And there's history and there and culture that
there's also a lot of pressure.
Plays a factor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But especially in Judaism, there's a lot of pressure for women to carry the line. And if I'm not a woman, does that mean I have any right to carry the line? Does that mean I have a right to call myself Jewish?
That's wild.
It's a very intense
heavy.
feeling. But with a recipe, it's not about what someone tells you or gives you. It's a wish. And that wish.
That's really cool.
It won't come true the way the original person will wish it. It will take on a life of its own, and you are, by changing the recipe, allowing yourself to change the narrative of your own family's history. And I find that to be powerful in a way that is almost guttural.
Wow, I don't think I could follow that up with anything meaningful. Thank you so much. That's perfect. So, can you share any information about timelines or anything like that?
So I believe
where folks can support you?
Of course. So you can sign up for my Substack on Fleet Detrik.
Okay.
Because that's the Fleet Folio. You'll get all your updates from there. I'm going to be doing a crowdfunder in February. So we already have finalized little bits of tarot. We're actually making our own tarot deck for the game based on mundane kitchen objects.
Oh, cool.
So we have the chariot.
That's going to be so awesome.
Beautiful. The chariot is a wooden chair. My grandmother, who recently passed, is in the game as the Empress card. Okay. She has a teapot for a head. So
I'm
it's
sorry
a little
that she passed, but I'm grateful that she's in the game, that you're able to carry that
on.
Yeah. And because CTRPGs are also like a continuation of memory too.
Exactly. And I mean, I was like, oh, this is a game about moving things forward, about bringing people in with you. And although I was never able to bring my grandmother into my life fully when she was alive, I do feel like I can at least bring her intention into my life.
Right, and you have that.
You have to have it. But you can follow me there and find that and support me there because we'll be hopefully releasing a full tarot deck that you can buy and play with.
That's awesome.
It's beautiful. I am very humbled by the experience. My artist Haley is incredibly talented. And keep an eye out there, February 2023.
Okay, yeah. Keep an eye out. Go check it out. And thank you. This was an incredibly deep and meaningful interview. I learned so much. So thank you, and we'll see you on the next in the next segment.
Bye.